Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Estate Right Now, where we talk about real estate matters that matter to you. My name is Jay Izzo, and we are live here from Linda Craft Team Studios here in Raleigh, North Carolina, part of the Greater Research Triangle Park. And today's show, my guest, of course, is Dwayne Reese, senior listing and buyers expert with Linda Craft Team Realtors. And as he's described it, is we're in a bit of a line dance right now when it comes to the real estate market. We typically would call this episode the State of the Union mid-year real estate market. But Dwayne approached me and said, you know, it's really a dance. We got a lot of things going on here. And we're standing at, you know how you go to a dance and you're sitting at the sidelines, right? And you're watching people do a line dance, like the Macarena, right? All right, you watch them do it. And have you ever seen people who don't know how to do it and how awkward that is, right? That's kind of our real estate market. And then give somebody a few drinks and watch them try to do the Macarena. It gets even more bizarre. That's our market probably today. And I'm going to let him describe it from there. Dwayne, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you,
How
Jay.
did I do? Did I describe?
You did a great job there, Jay. So this really is, Jay, we talked about this beforehand. It really is kind of a State of the Union, mid-year State of the Union for the real estate market 2024. Yep. You say, wait a minute, we still have a month left, right? It's only June the 6th. But in real estate, for those of us who are in real estate full time, the mid-year point hits June 1, really. Because anything that goes under contract, Thanksgiving to basically the first of the year, that's a 2025 sale. So we really start the countdown till we're halfway through the calendar year right now. And the real estate market has been, I'm going to use a technical word for you. It has been wonky. All right. This first 6 months, I kind of came up with this analogy. I was thinking the last couple of days, we started talking about content for the show. Right. And I was thinking about what the real estate market has done. And I've shared this a couple of times with people. It feels like it takes 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. It moves a little to the left and moves a little to the right. And that's where I came up with the analogy for the line dance. All right. And I know you are. I'm a connoisseur of live music. I've seen you perform karaoke a few times. Your go-to Mustang Sally.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Always fun to do that. But one of the entertaining things when you're out for live music is the band always takes a break, right?
Yes.
So when the band takes a break, they start playing some music and you always see people flood to the dance floor. Right. And it's always entertaining to watch. And I'm not the guy that goes to the dance floor. My wife, Erica, she's one of the first people to the dance floor and she knows how to line dance.
Right. Yes.
But she is always dancing with people that don't know how to line dance. And it's very evident when you see people it's the first time, or like you said, they've maybe too many beverages in. They slide to the left and they're sliding to the right and this kind of thing. So anyway,
they're turning to the right instead of the left.
Exactly.
They're going backwards instead of forwards. Yes.
100%. Yes. And our real estate market has very much been like that this year. If you'd have asked me December, my crystal ball for the year, I was super excited, super optimistic. Interest rates had been trending down at that point for probably about 8-10 weeks at that point, and then they reverse course. And so there's really 4, when I use the line dance analogy, there's kind of 4 data points that I want to kind of unpack a little bit. And then I really want to think about what that means for buyers, what it means for sellers, because the data points are really simple. The first one is interest rates. Those have been kind of wonky, up and down, bouncing back and forth. They're kind of schizophrenic. They don't know if they want to go up or down or, that kind of thing. So interest rates are one. Our inventory level, housing inventory levels, both nationwide and in our local market here in the Triangle of North Carolina. So that would be the second data point that I would talk about. Overall sales activity for the year. And then the fourth one, which a lot of people don't talk about, but I like to take a look at, is builder confidence. Because builder confidence, I'm one agent and I'm talking with other agents and I'm in the trenches every day. Right. But to see what builders are seeing nationwide, that's always a crucial data point. And so if you put those 4 people, let's call those people, interest rates as a person, inventory level as a person, sales activity as a person, builder confidence. Those 4 people are on the dance floor and they don't all know how to dance together right now.
No, they clearly
don't.
Dance. Yeah, they clearly don't.
They're moving in a lot of different directions. So
yeah, they really
okay, Dwayne, what do you mean by that? Let's talk about interest rates first.
Okay.
Interest rates, start of the year, trending downward. Yeah. And I would say the last 10 weeks of last year,
yes,
October peaked around 8. We got down into the 6s, probably 6.75 early in the year. And then they reversed course. And a lot of factors were at play there. Inflation readings did not come in where people expected them. Jobs reports continue to stay strong. So interest rates started trending back up. And they really have done this up and down movement in a range between about 7 and 7.25, really from January forward till the last few weeks.
And they've been pretty stable there.
They have.
But we made this prediction, you might recall, over the course of the last 2 years. We kept saying interest rates are going to come down, and they did a little.
Yep.
They went back up.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still saying, as we get closer to election, and I think we're all feeling this, interest rates are probably going to come down.
Seeing a trend in that direction. I have given up on my crystal ball. It has been cloudy over and over.
A little murky.
It has been really, really murky. But trending downward. If we'd have done this podcast a week ago, rates had trended up about 5 days in a row last week, but they, as of today, they've trended back down there in the low 7s, seeing some indicators that they could trend even lower. We've had some really positive economic news this week, and it's negative economic news that actually has positive indicators. So you say, what's the negative news, Dwayne? Well, jobs report, private job sector report came in a little weaker at the start of the week. We're waiting for jobs numbers at the end of the week. Right. That was one factor. Factor number 2, inflation reading got revised downward in April, and the GDP number for the first quarter got revised down from, I think, 1.6 to 1.3. Yeah. So all of those, they look like negative data points, but they're actually having a positive impact on interest rates because that starts pricing in the Fed's possibility of a rate cut. So those are all kind of positive factors. I'm hopeful that rates are going to continue to trend lower. If I had a crystal ball, my statement always is it's not if, it's when. So I really do think that we're going to see rates trend lower. That definitely has had an impact. Let's kind of flip to the last data point, and that's builder confidence index. All right. Those are kind of bookends. And if you look at the builder confidence index from around October of last year through about May of this year, it was trending in a positive direction. And then May, the bottom kind of dropped out for builder confidence.
So when we say builder confidence, just to help the listener and the viewer, when you say that, what do you, because we hear that phrase builder, what does that mean?
The builder confidence index is made up of a survey where they're surveying about 90 or so national builders. Okay. And so a lot of those are, the production builders that we're all, familiar with, the KB Homes, the Pulte's, of the world. And those, they're getting surveyed nationwide. And so it's a great index to look at because it's not just a snapshot of your local market. And so I always like to look at that one, but then I like to look at it. My dad taught me this lesson a long time ago, that if there is dirt turning, the economy is still growing. As everywhere I drive around in the Triangle, there's still dirt turning. There are builders that are they're still bringing homes out of the ground. They're still acquiring land. I had breakfast with a commercial real estate friend of mine about 8 weeks ago, and he was sharing this story with me that national builders are still willing to overpay for property right now. So, for instance, if you've got a developed piece of property that they think is going to go for $7 million, they're actually willing to pay a premium of $10 million for that property right now.
Well, that's a lot of confidence, isn't it?
That is confidence. Right. And where the confidence fell out in May, I think really was interest rate driven. Because of interest rates reversing course. And so when the interest rates reverse course, then people will pull back from buying decisions.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And if you look at other data points, credit card debt that consumers are holding right now, the amount of on-time payments there, you can see some pressure on the consumer right now, and that will create a pullback. So, those two points, interest rates and builder confidence, I think go hand in hand. But then if you look at the two middle data points, let's talk about, overall inventory. Right. Jay, I have teammates that we're always bantering back and forth. Is this 2021 all over again? Is this 2019? Right. I exchanged an email with one of my teammates earlier this morning. I'm going to go on record as just saying we're about to party like it's 2019 again. All right. One data point I'll give you, 1.6 million homes nationwide on the market right now. Okay. All right. That is the highest that we've had nationwide since April of 2019 when we had 1.8 million homes on the market.
So that's huge.
Huge jump.
And I read recently they somewhere that they had this state by state percentage increase of inventory.
Mhm.
And they said for like the state of North Carolina, it was like 30% increase in inventory.
100%.
And that was pretty close actually to most areas across the country.
Well,
is that pretty accurate?
And great point, Jay. So let's go from the nationwide look. Let's go to our local triangle market.
Mm-hmm.
Our low point in inventory would have been around January of 2022, February of 2022. So kind of the tail end of the pandemic.
Right.
And we were at 1,700 homes active or coming soon on the market at that point. Right now, we're at 8,500 homes either active or coming soon. So here's the point. We have 5 times the amount of inventory that we had in January of 2022. Yeah. And then here's the fun fact. Interest rates are only twice as high. Now, I know if you're the person that's getting that interest rate, an interest rate twice as high is not a lot of fun, but we have inventory that's 5 times the amount that we had, from that standpoint. So, what does this mean for buyers? What does this mean for sellers? That's the kind of the bigger questions that we have to ask and answer. And so, I have buyers right now who's saying, yeah, these interest rates are just, I can't pull the trigger. They're twice as high. And I say, I understand that. They say, I wished I'd have locked in an interest rate when it was 2020 or 2021. And I'm going, I understand that. But you remember 2020 and 2021, we had low inventory and there were 20 other people that wanted to buy that same house that you wanted to buy. All right. So right now you don't have 20 people wanting to buy all this inventory that we have right now. So we've used this phrase before, and I still think it's applicable. Marry the house and date the rate. Right. And so if you can find the house you like and there's not as much competition there, you can get the house that you love, get moved into that. You're going to have a higher interest rate than probably you like or are comfortable with, but there is going to come a point in time, if not when, you're going to actually refinance that rate down. And it's an easier and healthier environment to kind of be functioning in. We are definitely moving back to a more balanced housing market right now.
Here's the thing I think that just struck me and has struck me between the two markets. When we go back to 2021 and we go look at now, the one is, in 2020, when there was 20, 30 people bidding on the same house, we didn't have a very big inventory. So your selection was far less.
100%.
So you were not necessarily bidding on a house that you wanted. You just needed a house.
Exactly.
Now you can actually find the house that you really like because there's more available.
Exactly.
All right. Now
and you're not competing and having to go above list price and be aggressive on items like due diligence and those kind of factors.
And then they were waiving inspections, or they would do the inspection, but they weren't doing any repairs. Everything was as is. It was way over asking price.
Almost every home was going above list.
And we're a due diligence state, so the due diligence was huge.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, you lose that.
Right. And nobody was losing it because if you're going aggressive on your due diligence, you're not going to walk away from that. You got too much skin in the game at that point. I mean, those numbers though too, Jay, because of the more balance in the market right now, the due diligence amounts have come back to earth as far as the amount.
Right. It's a little more normalized.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It makes sense because we were seeing $100,000 or more.
Right. Nobody's walking away from $100,000.
Right. Which was the point, right? They put down $100,000 knowing they were going to lose it.
Right. 100%. So to buyers, I would say it is it's probably the healthiest, more balanced market that we've had since 2019. And I remember 2019, 2018, I remember thinking that was a really hot market. Looking back on it with the lens of the pandemic, it was not all that hot. It was a pretty normal market, frankly. We in April of 2019, when we were sitting on 1.8 million homes for sale, and I don't know what the number was in the triangle at that time. It would have been a reflective of that. We didn't see the pandemic coming. We didn't see what was about to happen in that 2-year period of time. So my point is this: to buyers, it's a great time to be in the market, and builders, because of that builder confidence going down a little bit. We're seeing builders offering a few more incentives right now. So closing cost, interest rates, those kind of factors that could come into play. So if you're a buyer, absolutely don't follow the news. Don't listen to local news or
Right.
or even national news. Usually they're looking backward about 2 months and they're not looking in real time. Talk to an experienced agent that can actually guide you through the process. What about sellers? If you're a seller,
Right.
if there's that much inventory on the market, do you want to add to? Yeah, absolutely you do, because it really comes down to what's going on in your life at this particular moment in time. If you are in a position because you've got strong appreciation in your home, you've got a mountain of equity that you've achieved over this last 4-year period of time. Most of us have because of the rising home values. So a lot of people are sitting on a lot of equity, a lot of increased appreciation. It's absolutely the time to get on the market. And the one thing I am saying and would say to sellers is the condition of your property and the price point, super important. It really matters right now. All right. So let's go back to our line dance analogy.
Right.
If you're looking for a dance partner, you want to take a shower before you come out to dance, right, Jay? We want to get cleaned up.
You want to be presentable, smell good, look good.
Exactly. Because if you're going to ask someone to dance, you want to at least have a chance that they're going to say yes. That's the same analogy I would use for a seller. You want your home to be, you want it to be updated. And it doesn't have to be like all the way to the nines. You need fresh interior paint. You need updated flooring.
Right.
If you don't have granite, you need granite. And the other thing you need to be priced right. All right. You really super need to be priced right. We've gone are the days where you could just stick a price on it and you're going to get above list price. Those days are in our rearview mirror right now.
Yeah.
There are homes still in our market that are getting multiple offers, but it's nowhere near the level that we saw during the pandemic years.
So let's talk about the home seller here and this market, because I think it's really, really important for them to understand. First of all, what it did for you as a home seller this past pandemic is your home values went up
always
significantly during the pandemic.
Anywhere from 20, depending on when you bought, to 20 to in some cases 60% increase in value.
So your value went up. So even though there's more competition in this market, you're still ahead of the game.
100%.
Right.
And if you're a seller in our market, our buyer pool it's lower than it was, because I think we have a lot of first-time home buyers that are sitting on the fence.
I agree.
But the strength of our market right now is the number of people that we have that are continuing to relocate to the Triangle market. So, those are the areas that as a seller, you got to consider. If you are sitting on too much house and a lot of equity, time to put that home on the market, because you do have people coming here from other parts of the country that they're either cash buyers, they're in strong equity positions that they're leaving behind. So definitely still a market there to be had.
And I think for the seller, and you made this point, but I want to make it really clear to them, if you're considering selling your home, with more competition means that you have to make a better first impression.
100%. You want to stand out.
Right. And so, what is your value? What we say in business, what's your value proposition, right? You have to make your home more valuable than the competition, right? Because, people say a home's a home is a home. Well, no. What is your value proposition that differentiates you from the other homes in your price range?
Right.
That would make you be the most appealing. And to your point, right? Maybe it is a fresh coat of paint. Maybe it is a new piece of carpet. Maybe it is, updating that kitchen a little bit. We're not necessarily saying that you have to completely gut the house and redo it.
No.
But I think what you're really saying is, listen, if it takes just a few dollars to make your value proposition and differentiate you from the rest of the market, do it, because you're going to be the first one off.
100%. And Jay, I just literally came up with this on the spot, listening to what you just said about the updates. All right. It's 3 L's. All right. It's about, as a seller, it's about looks,
right,
location, and likability. And say,
beautiful.
Wait a minute. What's likability?
I love that.
All right. So the looks are, you need to put some paint on it. You need to put some makeup on the house.
Right.
All right. Make it look good.
We don't want to buy an ugly house.
No, we don't. Location, we can't really do a lot about.
No.
So you've got to really factor in what is attractive about your location. What are some things that might not be attractive about your location? And then what do you say likability? You got the buyer's got to like the price. All right.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So there's an old rule of thumb that we're following, and it's really true right now. If a home has been on the market 2 weekends and your showings have been low and you have no offers, the buyer is telling you they really don't like your price.
Right.
I mean, that really
Right.
is, they're just waiting. We're
Right.
in a market right now where people can wait. And so we've got to be aggressive in making sure or accurate in our pricing. And then we've got to be aggressive in adjusting price if the market speaks to us and say, we really don't like the price, because the old rule of thumb is the value of a home. It's not what an appraiser says it is. It's not what Zillow says it is. It's not what any of these AVMs say it is. The value of that home is what a willing and able buyer is willing to pay, and a willing and able seller is willing to sell in an open market.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I think oftentimes what we want to go to is we want to go to this, well, it's about marketing, or it's about, well, I'm going to tell you something. Yes, marketing has something to do with it for sure.
Always.
But you know what? When the feedback comes back from the buyer side saying, you know what, it's not worth the value, right? Here's your value proposition, right? The cost versus value for me isn't matching up. So you either got to increase your value proposition, or you have to adjust your price to move it down.
Always.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with one of my sellers last weekend, right before we were hitting the market. And one of the things I do with either buyers or sellers, I'm going to do analysis. I'm going to look at the market. I'm going to look at, the specific property that we're talking about. I'm going to give some analysis and some recommendations. And then one of the things I always love to say is, if this were my house, this is where I would kind of land. Yeah. And we did that last weekend. We walked through that conversation. We're heading into the second weekend on the market right now. That'll be another conversation, post weekend, to say, has the market told us we're a little strong on price? Do we need to make some adjustments here? What's the feedback that we have? And this is a home that's in a great location. It is a great location, and it looks good because they did the updates. They did the interior paint. The flooring looks great, those kind of things. So
did we hit all 4 pillars yet?
I think we did. Let's see. We hit inventory. Yeah. Oh, we didn't hit sales.
Okay. So
let's do
a minute for sales.
So let's do a minute for sales. So here's where the market's really weird. In January, rates were trending down, but sales declined by 5%.
Interesting.
Overall sales in January, and I'm only giving you 2 data points. January 2024, sales declined by 5% compared to January of 2023. In April, which is our last month of real data, we don't have May numbers yet. April, interest rates had trended back up, but sales were down by 5% compared to April of 2023. It was the weirdest April, I think, that I have seen in a long time.
Wow.
The first 3 months of the year felt like spring, and April felt like January. And it was like, again, back to the line dance. The numbers are just bumping up against each other because people don't know how to line dance. These numbers don't line up.
Right. Just didn't make sense. The dance makes sense.
But you remember my technical word, what the real estate market is: wonky.
Wonky. Yeah, wonky. Wonky. If you don't remember anything else, just remember the market's wonky. You've been great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Always great to be with you.
Always great to have you on. I don't know why we don't do this more often. Tell people how to get a hold of you.
They can reach me 919-623-3731, call or text, or my favorite email address. Everybody calls me Dwayne. It's DwayneR@lindacraft.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Dwayne.
Thanks,
folks.
Jay.
It's a show. Thank you for watching us at DBTV and listening to us in your favorite podcast. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Or wherever you're listening to us, give us a positive review and 5-star review. We really appreciate it. It really helps us a great deal. And also, don't be afraid to ask what maybe you would, topics that you'd like to hear on the show. We'd love to address and bring in professionals to answer those questions for you. You know what? You had a lot of choices. You chose us. Thank you so much. As I say to you all over the world, you know what that is. Ciao, everybody.